Hey guys, it's me, Black Red Minty Plays, and welcome back to this story on Wattpad, Eminem Imagines. So I'm going to continue reading this. Fortunately, the Christmas one can't be continued till nearer the time. But let's just read the rest of this. You've been waiting for this for ages, you and Marshall's first date. You spent about 15 hours. On how you're going to look in your outfit, even though Marshall's going to say you look gorgeous. Can't say anything to your face. You settle on a powder, blue long sleeve silk dress that stopped lightly at your knees. You shaved, lotioned, and basically gotten your legs to your version of pristine so they flowed delicately down into your black leather ankle boots. Your hair is as naturally out and open. You feel confident in your minimal makeup. When you grab your miniature tawny purse, you tore your phone, some extra money, an extra eyeliner, and lip gloss inside it. The doorbell rings right on cue as you swing to the door, popping open and seeing him. He's got a vibrant coral-coloured rose in his hand. He's in an extravagant stable suit and he looks dashing. His golden blonde hair is as short as all but adorable, and his eyes sparkle when they catch notice of you. Dang, dog, you look beautiful, he compliments, and you melt on the inside. Ah, thanks, the same could be said of you, I said, and he blushes deeply. You guys step outside, the cold November air freezing your legs. You thank God for the white Mercedes parked outside your house. You ready to see Mockingjay Part 1? He inquires. Knowing you've wanted to see it for the past year, it does not matter your age, everything captivates you. You sit in the state-of-the-art car after Marshall lets you in. Yeah, you cheer as Marshall gets in and turns on the car. It electrifies before your eyes, everything tingled in green and neon blue. You ride off listening to Notorious Bugs by Notorious B.I.G., Dust in a D.Y.E., and talk about everything you're about to see. You adore downtown as you enjoy a friendly, cute conversation about movies and your personal favourites. You know 8 Mile is in your top 10, he says defiantly, and you shrug and laugh. Nah, I don't know, you say as he laughs, but you overchange the song. You pull into the crowded theatre because it is opening night. Well, I'm sorry, dog. I'm afraid this date will have to end right now, he says and pushes his arm. Whatever, you say as you hustle across the parking lot and into the theatre. It smells of butter, and the ads about the upcoming flicks get you excited. People are scattered everywhere, and you walk up on to the ticket stand and wait for your tickets. 2 for Mockingjay Part 1, Marshall asks, and his slim attendant, she nods, passes you guys 2 tickets each. The thin white paper slips into your palms and you get even more excited. You get a huge soda and a bucket of popcorn with extra butter and salt to share as you walk down the hallways to your theatre. Looking at all the iconic movies, you walk into the theatre, parked with teenagers and parents, and stir in the middle. As the credits still begin to roll, Marshall leans in close and kisses your cheek. It's the moment like this you lived for. Marshall paced anxiously outside the hospital room, running his hands through his recently dyed blonde hair. You could hear him. There had been chairs lining the beige walls, the same ones he locked eyes on for the past couple of months. A couple of your friends and his friends waited in the chairs, taking up a third of them. His friends included D12, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, who was there with his 1-year-old son, Paul Rosberg, and Yellow Wolf. Your friends and family included your best friend from 10th grade, Victoria Lowry, who had 3 daughters, all in their early teens. Your best friend from work, Adrian Jemison, and your youngest sister, Kendra, who was married with a 7-year-old. You had sport no matter the gender. His fourth daughter and the second official biological child. It took hours to get the Fiesta paparazzi out of the way so you could get the medical attention you needed. Meanwhile, on the other side of the wooden door, the baby was tearing apart, and the anesthesia they gave you not really doing its job, even though you did your research, watching videotapes of how the babies are born. You could have not predicted a fate worse than this one. Tears and sweat mixing together, making your face wet. Your thoughts of range from profanity and pain, reminders of how much the baby would look like you or how beautiful she would be. The scary feeling that you would be an unsuccessful maternal guide left you years ago. You were completely confident in yourself. The nurse kept wiping your brows with a now damp white rag as the 2 doctors worked extra hard to bring her into the world. Finally, her legs were sorted out, transforming the room into a blur of nurses, pink skirts, the doctors, striped white coats. You black out. You awake in the room with the nurse, whose name you remembered as Lena, sat in the visitor's chair. You're clean and you notice your deflating stomach. It was over. Miss blah blah blah. Would you like to see your baby? She asked sweetly, noticing you were awake. Yes, and can my husband come in, please? You inquire as you request for Marshall. She nods as she heads out for a little bit to summon him and get the baby. A second later, Marshall's in the room, and you see his slightly aged face behind a phone camera. Oh, you groan as you catch sight of the sleek black technology. Here it's me and Mrs. Mathers. It's August 28th, 2013. We are patiently waiting for the arrival of to get approval that hating. He leans in to get a closer look of you, saying your baby's name. Amy Danica Mathers. You spit out, the pain still there. Hey, Marshall, you inquire, thinking of something. Yeah? Remind me of how bad childbirth was when you want to try for another, you say. And she's back, Marshall says, rolling his eyes. Then the phone cameras turn to Leanna. As she walks in, holding the baby, you scream in excitement, which surprises Marshall. She lowers the soft carnation blanket down to your lap. As Marshall sets down the phone, you get a good look at her face. She's chubby, having a bit double chin underneath her beautiful face. She has Marshall's big blue eyes, your nose, your lips, his forehead, his ears, and your hair, and a glorious mixture of your complexions. She's so gorgeous, as suddenly the pregnancy pains and the birth did not seem bad. Hey, what's going down? All the people in the waiting room catch a glimpse of Amy, her large blue eyes dashing the room. Everyone compliments you and Marshall on such an attractive baby girl. It is truly the best day of your life. Thank you. It's a blustery night in Detroit, the setting for everything that was about to take place. You're staring at yourself in the mirror, the dark, dingy bathroom closing in around you, the greenish fluorescent captivating your features unattractively, but you do not care. The large horizontal mirrors keeps everything in check. You walk out the bathroom, the bass to some Tupac song pumping through the walls. You have had 6 victories in the shelter, and it led you to the guaranteed success in the mainstream rap world. People offering you record deals, low-key jealousy, but mostly happy feelings. You were called the Wrath because of your vicious rhymes attacking the opponent and never staying off topic. You wore a black red splattered tank top to signify it was you slaughtering opponents, but someone, a new victim, had stepped up to you, claiming to be a dope MC. You said nothing to these rumours, and you had us swirling around for weeks, only laughed them off. Tonight was your night to defend yourself against the underdog. You stepped to the stage, taking in all the dark faces. The low-hanging lights lit up the huge room. Everyone was talking and cheering. As you took to the stage, a few minutes late, DJ Killer was mixing a Nas song with a Dr. Dre one, and you knew this was your beat. The other MC had not arrived yet. You were already getting opinions to form on him. Proof stepped up to the stage as the boys stepped out onto the stage from the crowd. You take him in, dorkish blue eyes and buzzed down brown hair, skinny frame, hidden by a thick wavy Wu-Tang Clan hoodie. Easiest target in the world. The crowd had been getting rowdy, yelling for the simultaneously booing the white boy. Proof calmed everyone down as the DJ turned off the music to let Proof speak. Aye, we got the Wrath versus a new opponent. He's a real dope MC. He goes by Eminem. Both of these kids got a full minute since I know what that's what y'all want to see. The ref, you up first. DJ, hit me, he said, and the crowd's already rooting for you. The beat was intense, harder than the first time you heard it. You thought for a second about what you wanted to say and then went in. Yo, this guy looks like Bill Gates missed his first of the mouth check, looking all worn down like an overused front deck. He can't battle with the ref, he's on the wrong path. He looks higher than a kite, too shook to hold the mic. He's scared of me, he can't even look. He's a room full of neurals can get you afraid and shook. I may not know much about him, but I know he's already a phony. Whiteys don't belong in rap. You don't think these people are your homies? Hitler, wet dream, nearly blonde hair and blue eyes. Are you an unbecoming Nazi or a Klansman in disguise? You catch his girlfriend in the crowd and you attack her next. Your girlfriend. I see that in the crowd, looking like a coke. You must be proud. She took off the time her job of you cheating on you to come watch you lose. Newsflash, bro, you've all been receiving this booze. All these rhymes are too intelligent for your brain to comprehend, so just go sit down before you blow a fuse. Ain't no need to pretend you can't say you're like an MC Hammer while I'm the best lyricist. The raft, the raft, the raft. That's all you can hear. Eminem looked in the verse, and tears, and his girlfriend looked beyond annoyed at you. You flip her off gloriously. Okay, Eminem, hit her up, man. DJ, hit me. And then he went. I. Your style seems old, for one. Can y'all say something that hasn't already been told? They call you the rap, but for an MC you kinda are like the draft, because your rhymes blow through the people without leaving effect. Meanwhile, I swallow the true MCs like you. Yeah, you called out my girl, but I can said poggy your middle finger a 12. It's M to the M in this. I ain't playing around. He caught sight of your stocking cap, holding back the top of your hair. Get that stocking cap off your head, looking like the condom on your parents should have used. It's okay to be angry. I know you've been abused. I may be white trash, but who are you? I'm the illest in this game. You bring shame, the wrath. Haha, please, go back to the bro. Don't come back here and give me a disease. Everyone's still mostly on your side as it ends. He drops the mic and storms out. Clearly enraged, Proof crowns none of you winners in the twist of events. You are surprised. It must mean you'll have a rematch. Should I carry on? Or has it been too long? Anger is even present in your heart, but fears outshine it by a mile. You're in the crowd smoking another blunt with your friends. who were giving you an even deeper insight on Eminem. Apparently his name is Marshall, and he's poor, gets jumped daily, and has a daughter. You feel stoked up on with information. The rematch especially would mean a lot considering all that stuff on the line. You walk back up to the stage after the intermission ends. Eminem is now in a tank top, and you have removed your do-rag and your blunt in the hand of your close friend. It's now or never. Your heart is practically in your ears, and your breathing is shortened. You could see all the people in the hoods the next day, documenting the rise and fall of the RAF, and those thoughts were as haunting as ever. Proof introduced you, and a lighter upbeat is played. You are recognised as part of a Wu-Tang Clan song. You get even more notice. Eminem is first taking the microphone from Proof, walking to the centre of the concrete stage. The place seems 10 times more packed. You watch as he takes his final cue, breathing in and out, then he goes on. Do I really gotta battle this again? Aight then, yo, 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 hey yo, you might as well call this rap. Yes, knocked down, look down, these people are with me, you about to drown. I saw you back there drinking like a freshman's wife. You sure the movie Groundhog Day wasn't modeled after your life? Cause you come back here again and again and again. You wanna be a gangster, you ain't gotta pretend. You ain't got no man, you ain't got no plan. You're just an all-around Tupac fan, trying to sound like you're straight out of Cali. In actuality, you're the back blowing my man Howie. He points to an old man in the back of the room who waves his hands at you. You feel even more enraged. I ain't got no other way to put it. You're based up the roots with your saying you sell drug. Please, leave the stage. Leave this page. And you maybe, just maybe, people might be able to look at you and not be filled with rage. The crowd's screaming wildly and everything. Oh, Eminem just he threw it down the raft, reclaim your title, girl. Hit me up, Proof called, as the crowd got even wilder. Everyone was now throwing their hands in the air, cheering you on, still rooting for you. It touches your heart. Time to get rid of this cracker once and for all, you say. The crowd was going crazy. You gather all the information given to you from your friends about Marshall. And in total 50 seconds, you start to notice your voice is deeper, harder, shaped, tinged with anger. First off, I never claimed to be a thug. I never claimed to be street. I never claimed to be selling drugs. I never claimed to be a good rapper, which is something you can say. If you were, why you gotta work at Gilbert's Lodge to get your minimum pay? You should already have a deal. Should already be big. You point out his girlfriend again and make another statement about her. Instead of hanging out with guys who still and having pig, let's not forget the first time you stepped in here we booed you off stage. Proof wasn't here to help you. In fact, these streets and battles you gotta do what you do, and if that includes picking on a girl and having nothing real to spit, I'ma just have to call you out. Your real name is Marshall, and you lived in a hood in Partial. You wanna get respect? You wanna be noticed? Stop stealing Proof's rhymes and claiming that you wrote it. I can't take MCs like you and pull you through the ringer, but I'll also shoot you up and have your daughter at the funeral giving you a finger. Everything you touch seems to grow and stale. Right, maybe it's 'cause you're a soft rapper than in person and in real life. You get jumped daily, so don't tell me what I'll lead, because right after this battle I'ma have to see you in the alley with a nosebleed. The Raph will be the illest killer in the shelter, Detroit, and world. The only thing you can do is take a picture of so you don't forget the old girl. You drop the microphone, leaving the audience roaring indefinitely. You end up cracking lines on yourself as well as Eminem. It's a million times louder than the usual applause. If no question, who won? It's you. Marshall takes his losing angrily, exiting the building fairly. It does not matter, however, you just defended your title. Marshall was better, not me. How dare you? He deserved to win. It's an undoorably giant bash at the Mathers Mansion on December 31st, 2015. Every big name fairly well known in hip-hop, hip-hop, hip-hop Music production is there from Dr. Dre and Yellow Wolf to 50 Cent and some of the members of G Unit. Even though you've been dating Marshall for some time, you see longtime friend Kim Scott as she enters with Parker and her new man. His daughters are chilling on the couch, sparking up for a large celebration at 12. For the past couple of hours, you've been playing games, sipping occasionally from glass champagnes unless you're under 18. However, Whitney has friends over and you're all in the large living room. You mean Stevie? Marshall's crackling down so many jokes and so many laughs are shared between you both. Even at one point, you were both laughed so hard that you snorted in surprise. Everyone voiced their disgust, and you were embarrassed, but Marshall held you close to his arms. You're absolutely stunning. All this shimmery dress and the lights are off around 11:57. The there are glow sticks all over the place, providing the perfect light. As the clock inches closer to 2016, your heart is exploding with love. For everyone around you, and you're certainly excited for this year. We've started and ended with the one you're closest bond with, Marshall. The moon shines a pale blue light on you, and your moment feels right. All night, the only thing that's been blasting was the only Nas AZ album, but now has been switched over to Changes by Tupac to set in the motivated mood in the room. As smooth beats the chorus washes over like the moonlight, you all count down: 5, a new start; 4, no regrets; 3, closest is the only thing you need; 2, almost there, your heartbeat; 1, everyone screams as a dozen champagne bottles pop at you at the same time. A swift kiss is parted on your lips in the dark, and it was the one you wanted to be spending 2016 with. Have I got time to read any more? I hope I'm not making a mistake. The last night shifts at the bar. Finally, only the consumers served every night. Everyday Struggle by Biggie Smalls has visibly shook your rides. You bumped rides with because you were the one who lived in a Night's Inn hotel, the same place you lived in for years. Hey yo, Colored, the rednecks called on you. They only got racist when they were high. Unfortunately, of you, it had been often. You take it with a grain of salt. You sit in the back of their hatchback. You nod along to the hard East Coast lyrics as you feel as if you can relate. You never finished middle school. A friend of yours promising to take you to the top. As a result, dropping off at age 14 in Los Angeles, you backed up to Compton, robbing people for bus tokens. It was a hard life, but you worked your way from a struggling McDonald's employee to a manager to a bartender. You would never sell yourself, risk being too great. Now you hustled out of Compton and somewhere near the middle state. You lived in a very poor area. It was still trying to make up your mistakes, but it all proved to be difficult, having only an 18 grader's education. You were zoned out during the ride, failing to notice the cop's car behind you. Keep your mouth shut, Colored. They'll probably shoot you, but we'll get away scot-free. One of the drivers laughed. You rolled your eyes, but remained afraid. You could be dead in an instant. You sink down low. After a steamy interrogation in the front seat, you hear it all from the floor. You end up driving away. You ride could throw on about amazingly rehearsed version of themselves sober. It's always worn out with police, but as one of them turns around to talk to you, you realise it is not good. Hey, Colored, me and the guys were talking, and we can't risk messing up because you're dark back there. I'm gonna have to let you go, man. She says as she lets open the door in the midst of the empty seat. You hesitantly get out and watch as the hatchback speed away to the newest 50 Cent track. For the bunch of racists, they did love hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. A gust of wind made you realize your faded decades old t-shirts, and you hold up jeans and not Susan the air dry cold air. You shudder as it turns to get to the stripped abandoned buildings. A Mercedes bursts onto the scene, spreading and bouncing up down the same 50 Cent single is busting out of it. You suddenly realise you can't see as the heat moves. You try to pry off yourself, but alas, it proves harder than it is. You say before the car grills come close, the last thing you hear is that you could find him in the club. Is it really the end? Moving down the waterfall at 8:30. Surprised by you, Marshall. You feel as if it's a middle school again, keeping the yellow scrawled on the piece of paper close to your heart, like one passed to you from your crush. You have gotten yourself ready by this point, opting for a casual. You choose your stable skinny jeans over a white shirt with a picture of you of Nas on it because it's your devotion to East hip hop, and you originally topped it off with Timberlands, bad, with a touch of originality. Your hair was behind you in a ponytail, your makeup vigilantly non-existent, then a small bit of eyeliner. Yep, you were ready. You jumped inside your car, excitedly psyching yourself up by blasting Izio HOVA by Jay-Z as you blast downtown. It was lightly drizzling. You did not care. You were on cloud nine. The downtown square looked so cute and modern, with the golden glow from the restaurant and the store windows as people of every type of race, size, sexuality, and age enjoyed and made their own memories. Yours started in a few minutes. As you drove downtown, the Jay-Z track switched over to Missy Elliott's song, making you a little sad that you had to leave it. You exit your car, towing your little black coach purse. You walk to the dark water fountain. There was a concrete beach, but no Marshall. It was odd. Usually the water fountain lights were on with a blaze of rhetorical of colours, but not tonight. And once again, your man of 2 years was nowhere to be seen. A little disappointed, you began to wait for 10 minutes, checking Facebook. Then a sickened realization takes over. You realise he might have been planning something that was not good as you hoped, or to set you up. You wait for at least 20 minutes, then he knew how impatient you were. Maybe he had fans holding him up. Maybe he had an emergency meeting. Maybe he was just being difficult and decided not to come. You were getting cold and thanking God it stopped raining earlier as the 30 minutes mark it up. On the far right stretch to the 40-foot waterfall, it started to glow a deep wisteria, then the start of flashing lights by Kanye West started up. Your heart burst as you walked towards it slowly. The light was gone, but the song remained on. The wisteria lights travelled around a large water fountain premises. Then as the chorus took its hit, a firework exploded across the sky in a beautiful bit of cyan and gold. You wanted to cry. All the lights then came on as the water fountain squirted up on different bits of a brilliantly produced beat. And just as it seemed to be perfect, a tall, dark, yet blonde figure stepped through the centre of a sea-styled, parted bit in the fountains. It was Marshall. The music gets louder as another firework exploded across the sky. You have gathered around, crowded at this point. Having everyone stare at you and take photos would normally be strange. In that moment, you loved it. It got quieter as Marshall leaned in to speak. You know, dog, I've been doing some pretty hardcore thinking about our relationship, and I've realized I love you and so much, and you mean a lot to me. Without you, there is no me. So, would you like to make me the luckiest man in the universe and be? As he pulls out the gorgeous golden ring on one of his knees, you realize how much you're crying. Mrs. Marshall? Yes. You scream in happiness. The crowd goes crazy as the beat mixes again. And there's fireworks. Notorious B.I.G. Dustin or D.Y.E. Part of Mo Money, Mo Problems goes on. The loud extras with extra bass. Marshall knowing it was your favourite song. Everyone started to dance as Marshall puts it on. You, as he pulls you close and spins you all the coloured lights. Hip hop and making everything feel dreamlike as he wraps one of his hands around your waist, proudly presenting you to be extremely part audience as you realise your life could not be more fortunate, important, or memorable. Um, Things I wanted to do becomes time. One stepped in, bombs over by outcast was pursuing through the club, stinking a feeling of immorality in your heart, making you want to do things, a teenager-style consequence, free and dauntless. You were like that in a sense. That's how you chose to live life. You had several tattoos and scars in every location, souvenirs that showed you had done more in your 30 years of life than settling down. You're everywhere. You smoked mad weed in Jamaica, sitting around on a beach with about 7 guys, the, the orange sunset casting a soft light over the limitless ocean. You parted with the porcelain, it's the state that I'm in. Complimented with pink hair punks in Britain, you lived on a large farm in the south of Georgia, on a trailer park, giving a new meaning to a trailer trash. You were in New York, living up in a penthouse, galas swinging from champagne glasses, champagne showers popping in the club and lighted up every hour. With chronic shopping in stores with the likes of Little Kim and Missy Elliott, and DJing at jams for Mace, Nas, Lauryn Hill, and at one time, before his fame, Notorious B.I.G. Dust in her DYE. You loved your job as a ghost music producer. It's difficult to believe, but you always beginning new adventures. So tonight, standing outside in Detroit, freezing cold, as soft colourless snow fell from the sky, you wonder what you were going to start this time. Your outfit was yellow, astonishing bling out strapless dress, and high stiletto. Not best outfit, I admit. There was a harsh white light shining down from the outside brick building. There was a mad line. You were somewhere near the back. Yo, 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 you look cold, someone comments. You go to spit back, but a closer glance, the shine on his face possesses a pointy nose, white skin, sparkling cyan eyes. He's attractive, but not really your type. Too much like a bad boy. I do? You query, playing along. You loved to go along with conversation, wanting to know where it would take you. Sorry, it's the barber coming out of me. The line is too long, he declares loudly, hoping to capture the brainy bouncer's attention. You giggle as a result. He smiles. I'm Marshall, the man says, offering his hand. You take it. What? You say. You both engage in some more conversation. It must have been several hours before you get sick and cold of waiting. You know what? Forget this line, you announce, and Marshall agrees. So he likes going along with things too, you know. You both exit, pondering along to go where Marshall suggests, the bar. You both get inside his grey Mercedes and ride off into the unknown. A couple drinks later, you must be about 12 years old. No, seriously, you're bummed playing a drunken game of skee-ball with another 30 minutes of old adults. Your shoes are off and the arcades are actually closed. A fan of Marshall's opened it right before you both got there. Marshall swearing bad publicity on the place until they shut down. You're both telling dirty jokes, laughing so loud that it echoed all throughout the place. The arcade games were also noisy, and somehow it's one of the best moments in your life. You didn't even have to have a scar to show for it. Mom, let's go. I'm almost ready. Your fourth daughter calls down to your wife from upstairs. You're all reading the paper, reading the news that Donald Trump had died under the bay bar window sunlight. It rocked the nation that you couldn't care less. You didn't like the racist twat anyways. Okay, Amy. Marshall, you ready? Your beautiful wife turns to you. Her face has aged nicely, only slightly wrinkles. Despite being 60, her grey hair is tied loosely into a bun. She wears a stylish black dress, even though she's so old. She does not dress like it. Yes, you say, getting up from your chair. Your wrinkles of worn hands remind you of all the rhymes you used to write, all the things you have done. It seems like a soft ending to such a hard story. You walk up the spiral wooden balcony on the 30-year-old horns and watch as your daughter Amy Danica Mathers practically waltzes down the stairs. There's a small sense of pride in your heart as she comes down. The lights of Junior MAFIA is in the background, containing the family's love of hip hop, hip hop. She ended up having your crystal blue eyes that even with age still remained intact on your face. Your pointed nose, her lips, her forehead, her skin colour, her forehead and your teeth. Your forehead and your teeth. Her body was concealed in a yellow long sleeve dress to dress for the windy and chilly spring weather. She had her mother's body with large, skinny legs and your hair colour, which was flowing down her back in artfully curled. Your wife holds up an ancient call deck, snapping a photograph with it. She insists on having physical copies of everything. Oh, Amy, we have never looked so good. You're so beautiful, your wife says on the brink of tears. She looks shy, but you appreciate her nature. She was calming and introverted like you were. Thanks, she says, coming down the last stair. Then the door was knocked on. You knew it was Haley since she had texted Amy. She said she had been on her way to the house. You pull up to find Haley and her husband standing outside with Whitney. You mean Stevie and her man. Or their man. Haley was 35 now. Her hair in a middle-aged golden bob. She had a bigger, chilling presence about her now since becoming a child psychologist. She could solve any problems. Your granddaughters, 10 years old, JC, and 8-year-old Marina, rush up to you, embrace smiles. They are a perfect combination of Haley and her guy. Who gave you doubt as he saw you? Stevie, on the other hand, was confused by a lot of you, as being Kim, their resemblance so close to you at times. She stands with her man, Caden. It suddenly hits you how old she is, 29. She had a job as a nurse in a huge hospital, and it was on her way to having self-earned financial freedom. It's almost brought you to tears. Where's Lainey? Your wife queries after some photographs with the full family. She's run into some personal problems at the office, Stevie answers, referring to Lainey's accountant job in nearby Chicago. You nod, and all exit the house after all the music was turned off. Food eaten, kids kissed, and compliments exchanged. It was 11:15, and the ceremony started at 11:45. Impeccable timing. But before everyone leaves the house, you linger in the living room, a soft dandelion-coloured light from the tightly shut blinds sweeping into the hardwood floor. Top mantel sat marble-coloured box filled with ashes. You gingerly touch it, giving way your manhood. For a past friend, the air was still warm on your neck. You thought that Deshawn's death would have been the worst to hit, but Dre would have to come in at a close second. Dre stumbled to a mysterious illness in 2026, coming in the middlest of D12's reunion tour. It took nearly 2 years to get over with without your mentor, your rock, your best friend by your side. It became hard to function, and you nearly broke your recovery streak. You stopped making music altogether afterwards, only working on collaborations with newest artists as a way of passing the torch. Besides, you had 4 daughters and a beautiful wife to come home to. But the rap game, for you was over an astonishing 30 years. You left the box carefully and hold it in your hands to carry Dre with you. Wherever he ventured, he would have attended the ceremony if he had lived to see it. It almost made you cry, seeing your close companion in a box. You kept at it. You left the house in high spirits despite the painful reminder of your best friend's passing. Amy Danica Mathers, the dean called out as Amy glided across the stage. Her colourful graduation gown flowed behind her without a trace of being nervous. Her heels clinking against the wooden stage, the deafening applause was a bit too much for you, your wife's ears, but you welcomed it. Behind you sat 50 Cent, who has now had grey hair, droopy tattoos, but still good skin for his age. Ryan, who still managed to look intact. D12, whoever was an elderly man, was still jokingly and vulgar as usual. Deshawn's family, who looked as beautiful and well put together as your own family. As your wife takes your hand, hold it tightly, Dre in the next hard plastic seat over there, you realise something. Your job is over. You had reached the end of your rope. You always believed you would die in a spontaneous conversion of drugs, hookers, and deadly rhymes. You end up smoking fat blunts with Tupac and Biggie, but you stuck it out and experienced the miracle of fathering. You're now going to die in peace, having no little girls to leave behind. Everyone was fine, well cared for, everything you wanted. It took 58 years to achieve these goals. The thought burns a fiery hole in your heart. At first it feels like a little strange. It warms every part and fades out of black. Everything is becoming very blurry as you see the light. You breathe in once and you realise everyone's surrounding you. You never breathe out. It looks like that's the end of the story. Next time I do a Wattpad story, I'll be reading something else. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I'll speak to you guys in the next one. I haven't decided what that will be yet, but thanks for watching this one. Bye!
Me too,